I'm 68 now. My parents were Depression era. They grew up with nothing. So we lived a very frugal kind of life. So as a little kid, when I'd want something, it was like, no, you can't have it. No, we can't afford that. And no, we can't do that. No, you can't go there. So I heard no very early in my life, and I figured out I got to beat this thing. I got to figure out how to avoid getting told no all the time. And literally, I built my life trying to figure out how to get to yes, how to jump over these hurdles and jump through the hoops. I don't know an entrepreneur that isn't psychologically damaged in some form or other. We've all got a thing. It's like, for me, I mean, I will just, this is like, I've paid $100,000 in therapy probably to tell you what I'm going to tell you now. But it was like, it was my father. I had to prove to him that I could do things. I could prove to him that yes was a good answer. I needed to prove to him that I could be successful. And that was my entrepreneurial life. We talk about, as entrepreneurs, the fire in the belly.
Yeah.
It's like, where does your fire in the belly come from? I mean, you know where your fire belly comes from. I know where my fire in the belly comes from. But like, how you're driven, why you're driven is really, really helpful in trying to figure out how to avoid no, how to get into situations where if someone says no, it's like, okay, what do I need to do to get a yes? How can I take that and parlay it into a yes the next time I go make a pitch? You never know how life takes you. Again, it's the journey, I think, and it's the lessons learned. Every no for me has been a lesson learned. Why did you say no? What didn't I do right? What are you looking for that I didn't figure out before I walked into this room? If something doesn't work, it didn't work. It didn't succeed. That's not failure. I didn't fail. This venture didn't fail. What can I learn from it? What mistakes did I make? How can I take it to the next place? How can I take it to the next level and employ the new knowledge that I have to make the next thing successful? Investors are risk adverse. They want to know what the risks are. What happens if this doesn't work? That's a great plan, but what happens if things don't go as well as you thought they would? What happens if there's a recession? What happens if something goes wrong politically? There's a war that breaks out, whatever the heck it is. Your product doesn't sell as quickly as you think it is. What's the plan? What's the downside? How are you going to deal with adversity?
Mm-hmm.
So you always have to know that going in. Because if you sit there and look at them and say, the economy is going to grow 2% every year, that's not going to be a problem. You lose. They immediately hit the eject button. For me, a pitch, you've got to run your numbers, and you've got to have solid numbers, because every investor you talk to is going to want numbers. They're going to want financials. They're going to want cash flows. They're going to want capital investment. They're going to want to know what you think is going to happen to the money side of this. It's not just the dream. It's not just a product. It's not just, to being on the cover of the Wall Street Journal. It's the numbers.
Yes.
So you need a plan. You need to be able to say, and I've reduced the revenue 10% on section 2. So if revenue is 10% below what I thought it was going to be, here's what it's going to look like. And section C is if it's 20% below what I thought it's going to be. I don't want to be the person doing it. I want to support the person who is doing it. I want the person with the fire in the belly who hasn't hit their first home run, who wants to hit their first home run. And I want to be supportive of them. And it's being able to step back as an entrepreneur and say, I'm willing to support somebody else to be successful without me having to be on the top of the podium. Yeah, to be able to push away and say no to money, that's a very grateful place to be. And gratefully, we managed to build a company that was successful enough that I could pick and choose between investors to get the right fit for the company and the right fit for them. It's not that you cut too good a deal or something like that. You want to find the right fit. You want to find someone that'll be a good partner, that'll be a supportive partner, not that's going to be antagonistic the first time something goes wrong. You have to have people who believe in you and will continue to believe in you as long as you maintain some modicum of success. Not everybody's like that. There's some cutthroat people out there who look for the first opportunity to slice your neck and take more of the company and take advantage of that. And then there are other people who say, look, I understand these things, ups and downs happen. I'm with you. I'm supportive, and let's just work through this. I've always looked at my decision making as don't regret the decisions you make. You make the best decision you can given the facts that you have, Hopefully most of the time you're right in your decision making. You're going to make mistakes. Don't beat yourself up. Don't have any regrets. I don't know that I had a choice. I don't know that my intellectual, my psychological composition allowed me to just stop, allowed me to say, I guess this isn't going to work out. I don't have that gene. And again, that's why I say understand the psychological, understand what drives you.
Right.
And feed off of that. Understand that whatever's driving you to do this, failure is not an option.